Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Runers. So, trying a little bit of a different build today. Mindspike, Chimera, Mystic. So, kind of depends on how things pan out. It might work, might not work. Not entirely sure how it's going to work. I mean, what am I even talking about? I moved home and had a fair amount of free time, which I couldn't record because it wasn't set up yet. But I did have plenty of time to just play Runers by myself, because I had my laptop available, just not my microphone. So I've discovered a butt ton of spells that I'm really interested in trying out. The main thing is, I mean, I've tried them out, it's just a matter of using them in terms of like recorded content. So ideally, would like to get a pair of light novas and a pair of supernovas and just go with the pure nova build, because that could be really fun. And then at a slightly later date, I'd also like to do the prismatic devil build, but that one might require a little bit more, I don't know, persistence? Not entirely sure if that's the right word I want to use here. But getting 3 entropy runes in a row, as well as fire and air? Nah. Honestly, I've also been doing a lot of melee-ish builds recently, and I'm kind of interested in trying something a little bit different. So, that's why I'm trying to be the Mystic this time around. Now, the reason why I went with Mystic is largely because if I can get her, you know, class ability combined with a Nova, it pretty much is just going to insta-gib anything that comes even remotely close to her. So hopefully I can go with that. We'll see. But at this point, I've also discovered every single double combiner spell in the game. So let's see what spells we have. Just an Earth Room. So realistically, we can just keep hoarding double combiners up until the day. Not the day we die, but we can keep hoarding double combiners up until the point where, you know, we can turn them into triples instead of having to worry about saving them for doubles. So if I die with the double combiner, well, I mean, it's sad, but at the same time, it has no impact on the game. Or at least in terms of my Runedex, so I can be a little bit more indiscriminate in terms of stuff. As long as I don't waste a triple combiner, I really don't care. Because, well, I mean, obviously. So we've got a couple of skeletons all over the place. Move the microphone, move the keyboard away. I noticed that there were some clackety sounds in the last couple of ones, and it's because I move around a lot. And my keyboards are not the quietest in existence. I'm going to try and break out another keyboard now that I'm home. And it might be quieter, it might be louder. I have no idea. The only problem is it's wireless, and wireless keyboards, especially with reflex gaming, not always the most reliable thing. You know, a little bit of an input lag, a little bit of, you know, interference can screw you up. And I mean, it could all be imagined in my head, but I prefer to have as seamless of technology as possible when it comes to playing these games, because I'd really hate it if, you know, my keyboard stops responding for a second and I die as a result. That'd kind of break a recording in my head. So actually, one other thing that I'd like to try as soon as I'm done killing this person is, let's see. Ooh. Okay. So, right stick moves, left trigger shoots, right trigger. Okay. This is going to take some effort. So, if it's not immediately apparent, the developer has added controller support to this, and I wanted to test it out. Now, first complaint thus far is the way my fingers fit on, the way my fingers are going on the controller, a little bit more awkward, but at the same time, now I don't have to worry about a keyboard in the slightest, so got that going for me. Now, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but at the same time, I find dual stick shooters are far easier to control when you actually are using when you're using a pair of controllers. The only problem is if you want to cast any of the like secondary spells, you have to reach up for a bumper for them, or use your ring fingers on the triggers, but I find that is a little bit uncomfortable. So we'll see, but this way is definitely going to make dodging a lot easier. So I think from now on I'm going to be using the keyboard unless I'm doing a specific zone targeting build, which, you know, actually requires like precision placement of a thing. Also, since I don't have another spell, why do I even need to worry about holding down the right trigger? But thus far, results are fairly conclusive. Very easy to move around like this. At least, it feels like movement is a lot smoother. I mean, go figure, I have a 360 radius instead of, you know, 4 directions that I kind of have to convert into some kind of 360 degree type motion. Also, just far more comfortable in my hands. and just in general, also quieter. I like how quiet controllers are. Whereas keyboards can be clacky, mice can be clicky. And I mean, yes, if you're doing some like really heavy button mashing, it can get really obnoxious. I guess the only real downside to the controller right now is my accuracy. It is taking a bit of a hit, but at the same time, once I get like the full-on build going, it's not going to matter because I'm just going to be able to, I mean, largely be pretty indiscriminate here. Might as well pick up the heart. Injured enough for it to be viable, and it looks like we still have the event room, and it's one of those where I'm holding off on event rooms generally until I can, you know, complete them with, you know, a fair degree of confidence. For that one, it's a portal protector, and I'm not very confident in my ability to beat it without, you know, 2 spells. Mind Spike is nice because it has like full strike through, but it really doesn't do that much damage. And I guess I really didn't need to pick up that. Hey, there we go. There's an entropy rune. So at the very least, we could do that. Or I could... Nope. Let's see. How do I... Oh. I was hoping it would be something a little bit more like this, actually. Let's see what I can make. So I can make Molten Hammer, Slow Burn, Firebrand. Oh, you can't hold it down. Okay, so these controls are a little bit mediocre. Now that I've actually used the controller, it's... not helping either. So we could do double lightning. That's tempting. Let's see if I can do... Oh, wait. Can I already do it? Wow. So the one problem with the 2 spells that I want is, except for Shock and Fire runes, they actually use the exact same runes, aka Earth and Light. So I might have to rethink part of that, but let's go back. Let's do Light Nova and get that going. And realistically, if I can get another Light, I could... make us Nova. So what does Light's Nova do? If you've seen it before, it's pretty awesome. It just leaves these dots down on the ground, and they do damage to anybody that walks through them, and they don't disappear either, and it makes kind of a weird noise too, but it's very effective at taking out enemies, especially, you know, any kind of enemy that's moving through a zone, especially if you get 2 of them and boost up the duration, because then you can just have, I mean, constant dots, and they do a fair amount of damage too, especially if you can pour a bunch of shock runes into the spell. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty damn confident in my ability to get through, ooh, water rune. I'm pretty damn confident in my ability to get through that event room. I'm just trying to, the one problem with the Lights Nova is it's awful for breaking boxes. It's, there's a lot of like blank spaces that, you know, just aren't able to hit boxes. You have to worry about a little bit, but I can just sit here, and like I was saying, my accuracy is a little bit in question here. Luckily, we've got the Lights Nova not only slowing them down, but killing them as they make it through. So I'm hoping that as they get closer, they die fast. I need to worry about him. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Got it. Okay, scary part is over. Now it's just the last couple. And might as well face him full frontal, and he dies. So what do we want to do? Cooldown reduction is probably the most valuable thing to us right now. Static skin, not so great. Honestly, all of these are kind of mediocre. Let's just go with static skin, even though it's not particularly good. Now, there is one trait that I really would like to get that makes it so every 50 kills you get a bonus to your health. I've been getting a lot of that on my practice runs, but I haven't seen it yet on a normal run, which is a little bit unfortunate. But hoping I can get that, maybe not this run, but maybe soon. Now, if I get another shock, really I need another light rune. But if I get another shock rune, that will put me a little bit closer to getting a second Lights Nova. Because as much as I would like to get Supernova in here, Lights Nova is the linchpin of the build. Supernova is just kind of more of a cool oh shit button. That said, it is an oh shit button that I would like to get my hands on as part of this run. Because between the two of them, if I can use them properly, then we'll be in a very good spot. And if I can, you know, globally raise my Earth and Light levels, they'll both get boosted as well. Let's see. So we're on level 2, we're full health, and we're already very solidly on our way to a full build, or at least, you know, we've got one of our tier 3 spells already, which is pretty damn fantastic. I mean, this is pretty much the best example of the power of this spell. Just loads of enemies around, can't even get a hit in, because I'm mostly focusing on avoidance and letting the spells kill the enemies for me, which is incredibly helpful. Now, I believe, yeah. So at this point, I actually need 1 Earth Rune, and, oop, yeah. Got hit a little bit there. Not happy about that, but doesn't matter in the end. I took my hand off for a second and forgot that Light Nova was the wrong hand. Hair was on my forehead, and I honestly cannot stand when, like, there's something tickling my face. It's weird, but whatever. So, we got an event room. We've also got some boxes to get through. Honestly, boxes usually have pretty bad drop rates, but you never know. Okay, what's this one? Is this living statues? This might be a little bit hard. We'll see. Actually, no, it won't be, because living statues, they reflect bolts, or they shoot you if you hit them, but as long as I'm focused on dodging, it's no big deal. And there we go. Let's kill the skeleton. All we have left is a freaking rat. Okay, so let's... This one's always a conundrum. I could go for the Earth Rune, and that would let me... Ooh. It would put me closer to getting a second supernova, or I could go for the health boost just because extra health is nice. I'm gonna go with the Earth Rune. It feels dumb to do it this way considering it's kind of a temporary-ish boost, but at the same time... Oh, is there not a faster way of doing this? Whatever. Let's just use the old-fashioned cursor way. Okay, goodbye Mind Spike, hold that there. Now if I can get 1 more Light Rune, we are golden. Because as it stands, I mean, look at this. This is nonsense. The only problem is I have no specific way of directly harming an enemy. I mostly have to rely on these zones doing it for me. That said, once I get Supernova, that'll give me some amount of intent. I guess the only problem would be is if I had the hit list event, I might have to scramble to find a single target ability to use. But as it stands, we're pretty much golden as far as this build goes. And honestly, there are 0 bosses that I can think of that are specifically great against us right now. This Fireborn Voidling might screw us up a little bit. But apart from that, all the other ones are going to be good. So that's tempting. Because we already shoot off an extra shot at a 7% chance, which is tempting. And the rest are honestly kind of worthless. Battle Hardened is tempting. Inventor is also very tempting. But... I'm gonna go with this one. Maybe. No, we're... I don't know. I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot. I'm gonna go with this. The reduction of penalties is probably going to be most useful, because I already have a chance to cast more often, and... Whoop, okay. There are a couple of rooms where it does become a problem, especially if you're like surrounded in the beginning and you can't get your Lights Novas off, but once you have them both going, then you're pretty much golden. Also, we got a Shock Rune, and another double combiners. Ooh. Okay, so that means I can actually pump these spells up. Now, I am a little bit... Okay, let's just pump them both up equally, because I'd rather have them do about equal. Oh, interesting. Apparently one of them had a bonus that I wasn't paying attention to. Now, we still need a Light Rune to continue with the Supernovas. And honestly, if I can get 2 Supernovas and a bunch of Light Novas... Uh-oh. Well, there's our Light Rune, so there's our Supernova. And that's actually going to be really helpful for... Wow. We're getting, like, everything we need. Okay, so if we get the Supernovas, that's going to solve the problem where we don't have the Lights Novas right off the bat. Because this way, in the beginning, you know, enemy charges us, we can just immediately Supernova them, and that clears the way for me to get my Lights Novas out, which is pretty damn fantastic. Okay, and that's left bumper. Now, one thing I'm noticing about this entire build is I think I actually fire faster with the controllers. I could be wrong, but it does seem like they're firing off a lot faster than when I was, you know, trying to do the controller. The game does still fall prey to the same problem where you can't cast any of your secondary spells while you're auto-attacking. Yeah, I mean, I could be a little bit wrong about that. I'm gonna double check for a second here. Nope. Transitioning between controller and not is a little bit less functional than I thought it would be. But at the same time, okay, so as long as I'm holding the left trigger and firing with the right bumper, so as long as I only release one of them, I can still be auto-attacking and using the specialty spells, which is pretty useful. Gaming with allergies is like the worst thing ever. Okay, so let's get in here, and we got the supernova right off the bat. Wow, that solves problems. So, we're pretty much golden. Now, I guess realistically, I would like to get that second supernova to fully have, you know, clearing potential. And I also like to get the perk that every time you use an ultimate, it reduces your cooldowns by 5 seconds. Because at the very least, I can, you know, kind of have the supernovas chain off of each other and reduce the cooldowns. That's a lot of hearts sitting around. Honestly, I'm collecting them like crazy. It's like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Except for it's just really health packs and drugs and stuff. I don't even know. Okay, so I'm figuring this out, and I'm definitely glad that they added controller support, because it's nice. I'm also glad that they haven't nerfed either of these spells. In fact, they might have even made them better. I guess that's one of those things where it's like, with the single-player roguelike type game, you could always just, you know, not balance things that much. So every once in a while there's something that's just like insanely good in comparison to everything else. And, you know, yes, this build is insanely powerful. And it's something that I will probably slowly phase out. You know, only use every once in a while when I really want to win. Because it is just a little bit too strong. Oh, it's right stick to use the Mystic ability. That actually makes a lot of sense. They really laid out the buttons well. I think, yeah, because you don't want to take your finger off the right stick because you have to always be aiming, so using ABXY would be completely worthless. Or if you're a PlayStation player, I don't know, square, circle, triangle, X. So dark levels would be useless. Knockback, tempting. I don't know if bullet speed has an effect. Huh. Honestly, I don't know if any of those have an effect, so I'm just gonna go with that. I wonder if random pulls from... I'm gonna have to test that next time. I'm gonna have to see if random actually pulls from like that specific pool or pulls from a global pool. Because it'd be kind of cool if random would actually give you things that you would normally be able to get, but sometimes gives you kind of worthless stuff, or, you know, stuff you don't particularly need for your build. Both are entirely possible. Anyway, let's go through and see what kind of event this is. Portal Protector. Ooh, this is exciting. So, what I'm going to do is just go in small circles to expand the zone as best as possible. Because the thing is, as long as I'm largely around the radius of the portal, we should be fine. I'm gonna use Nova. Oh, okay. So actually, I can, in fact, fire spells well like this. Wow. I might actually be able to equip a more effective spell. Interesting. Okay, so we need a light rune and a fire rune to make another Nova. Shock rune would give me a bonus to Lights Nova, or I could just go with a passive 5% boost. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to do the combiner thing, just because I'm not going to be combining a whole heck of a lot of spells, but it's still more useful than everything else there. So what this does open me up for is I can actually, since I'm using the controller and have, you know, enough fingers for this, I could potentially have single target spells built into the bumpers as well and use my index finger to pull that trigger. Okay, so all we need is a light rune, and then we're good. So I could very potentially actually do Prismatic Devil comboed with Lights Nova and just be an absolute like absolutely indomitable shell. Okay, so we've got a lot of hatchet zombies. Not happy about them. Problem solved. Did that just murder everybody? Looks like it did. So yeah, I might actually reconsider the whole supernova, the double supernova build. I might actually pick something up. You know, triple entropy is definitely a consideration, but something to make me a little bit more defensible close range, potentially? It's an interesting question that I'm going to have to think about, because there are a lot of other triple combo spells that could be really fun. I'm trying to think of other ones that I've used in recent memory, and there have been a bunch. I got really lucky with a lot of ones. Well, not exactly the best supernova I've ever used, but at the same time it took out largely all of the threats, so I can just kind of focus on whatever. I also noticed that it is actually a lot easier to aim at enemies with the the brain bug or whatever, usually it used to give me double cursors. Now it just gives me 2 lines, and that's still fairly easy to deal with. But it's even easier now. So I'm going to go with Doctor, Health Pack, Healing increased by X. Realistically, I'm not expecting to take a whole lot of damage this build, but at the same time, that is very valuable, because, I mean, yes, there are some rooms where you just run into it, and there's just no winning. But most of the time, it's just simply a matter of you just get whittled down, and eventually, you can't, make it through. Okay, so we're getting a lot of air runes here. Might actually have to look into getting a air rune triple combo spell. I'm tempted to just put triple air rune in, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm 1 double combiner away from a triple. We're actually about to be able to face the boss, which could be cool. Because, honestly, I feel pretty damn prepared for it. I also have a lot of runes left over that I'm probably going to have to do some combos with. But, let's see. I don't have any shock runes, and I'm leery. I'm still trying to determine if I want to do double supernova, or if I want to do, yeah, because this is very tempting, Nova Forever. And, because, yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and I'll do the quad shot at a different time. It'd be crazy if I could do double prismatic, double flame devil, or something kind of close to that, because that would be absolutely insane. Okay, so we've got our first triple, sort of. So let's, oh, it doesn't quite register the cursor being back on the screen. So what do we want to do? I could do air that. Okay, because those are the most plentiful ones that I have, and I can probably get rid of them. Let's see. Black, whoa. Okay, that looks fun. And, wow, that's actually got a fairly short cooldown. So I'm going to equip that, and then I'm going to pile a bunch of dark runes in, which boosts the duration by a surprising amount, and air runes increases the damage. That might actually be a really good spell. We'll see. Okay, so water runes increases the size. Cool. I'm looking forward to using this one. That might actually be the second part of the build. Okay, the other thing we can do is add... We could add earth runes to this. And one of the things that I could do is put a bunch of earth runes in one and not the other, which would make them have varying sizes, which would increase the coverage. I'd like to put a bunch of stuff into Supernova, so let's just put the fire in. Might as well boost its damage up. Might as well put the earth rune in here. And I have enough speed runes, so if I want to make an emergency sprint, that'll be nice. If we have to fight, the flame dude, whatever his name is. So, we'll see. But as it stands, I'm feeling pretty confident about our build, especially because the Dark Wind spell actually has a very short cooldown from what I could see. Oh, there's a room over here. Might as well go through it. Just watch me waltz straight into the boss room. Let's see what this spell does. Wow. That actually is incredibly effective. I could totally see a build that just utilizes 4 of those and, blasting one off 1 per second. That could be really effective, come to think of it, especially if you had the high duration on them. Oh, the duration is the duration for the debuff, not for the spell itself. So it doesn't actually increase does not actually increase the, chances of it happening. Also, it seems to fire off in the direction of my cursor, weirdly enough. But I'm okay with that. Cool. I like that spell. I'm gonna have to go get a healing rune before we go fight the boss, but I'm looking forward to using it. So, let's pop down. I guess the boss room is the last room we're going into. So, I've got 4 speed. Oh, shoot. Well, never mind then. I was gonna say, it's like, hey, if I beat this boss, I could do a triple speed, but no. We're not going to be able to do this otherwise. So, I'm gonna put Supernova there, goodbye Mind Bolt, and we're going to put a bunch of speed runes in there. Hopefully that will be done. Yeah, they'll definitely be done cooling down by the time that we need it. Because Blazy is kind of obnoxious when you're onto the final phase and you can't get away from her fast enough. I think it's a her. Could be a dude. I just usually think of things with a IA as a, female name. Blame Spanish for that one. So luckily, we're in a very good position for fighting this boss, and we do have some... Whoa. that did a fair amount. So we do have some issue with the mazes and the volcanoes because we don't have long range, but at the same time, I'm not terribly concerned about it. Let's fire off some black winds. Wow, that does a lot of damage. I really like that spell. I don't think I missed with that one, but only a couple of seconds before I have to use it again. Also, yep, here we go. So, sprint time. And the one thing of note is using Light's Nova is completely worthless against Blazia in this form because Blazia takes damage based on your successes getting through the maze. So, all I have to do is focus on getting through. Maybe I should have actually gone with double sprint. Now, wow. The one problem with the controller I have is it's a little bit less precise than... keyboard and mouse, so if I like make a mistake, it's a little bit harder to get past. So I could potentially screw myself over. Now here's what I'm going to do. Psych! You can also cheat the maze. You can also cheat the maze fairly effectively. I barely took damage there just because I was sprinting through. And the convenient part is, I mean, we did take a little bit of damage because of the way the nuke goes around me, but at the same time, that was pretty good. So what can I do? I can get the... that's not useful. Ooh. I think I'm going to go with that one. Yes, it does cost me some permanent HP, but I can get that back. Also, realistically, we shouldn't be taking too much damage here. Let's go back for all of the health pickups. And that pretty much puts us at full. I'm going to go for the other one just in case. We'll see. Okay, yep, we are now, in fact, at full. So, what do we have for triples? We got Mind, Fire, Entropy, Air. And a triple rune.